AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday.
Looking for these better days.
It is Tuesday, December 9th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. I think Jalen Hurts just turned the football over again as we record this episode of Better Day presented by FanDuel. Mackenzie Rivers is with me as we react to Monday Night Football last night. The Chargers with a 22-19 win in overtime over the Philadelphia Eagles. Chargers win as slight dogs. The game stays under the total despite the potential for an extremely bad beat, Mackenzie. You know, I tweeted this out last night before overtime. I said, if this game goes over in overtime after only 2 touchdowns were scored in this game, that's just a sickening beat. And thankfully for under bettors, it stays under as the Chargers hold on to the 22-19 win.
35 total first downs in the game, 20 of which were in the fourth quarter and overtime. So really just an underfest all the way through. And that's why betting totals is hard in the NFL, because you get these fluke finishes. Luckily, there was enough fluke in the last play of the game to keep the under.
Yeah, field goal after field goal after field goal. The only touchdowns in the game came early on. The first quarter, it was Omarion Hampton. Welcome back from injury. He scores a receiving touchdown for the Chargers. And then in the fourth quarter, to start the fourth quarter, it was Saquon Barkley taking the fake tush push play and the pitch to the outside, and he goes 52 yards to the house for the touchdown. Those are the only 2 touchdowns of the night. As far as our props are concerned, Jalen Hurts went over his rushing and passing numbers. He had 240 passing yards. He only had 8 rushing yards, and that's the thing, man. Kevin Patullo, the play caller of the Philadelphia Eagles, is under so much scrutiny. He has been criticized every single week to the point where Nick Sirianni last week talked about how he's more involved in the offense this week in their preparation. For Jalen Hurts to only run the ball 4 times, and 2 of those, I believe, were not even designed runs. They were just scrambles where he slid down for minimal gain. This is not a good use of the talent on your team. Saquon's numbers look great because he had that 152-yard run, and then he had a 19-yard run earlier as well, right on cue when Troy Aikman was talking about how Barkley doesn't have any 20-yard runs. But this offense is clearly broken, and I would not be surprised if there is a change coming this week where Nick Sirianni takes over the play-calling duties from Kevin Patullo.
Does he take that risk, though? The Eagles have been a terrible team, awful loss. They famously lost, 6 of their last 7 the year after they made their first Super Bowl. They fired both coordinators, and Sirianni's been kind of insulated from really any responsibility for the offense or the defense. He's the corporate CEO in charge, so that would be a big risk for him to take this over. Because here's the thing about the Eagles offense. You could argue about Jalen Hurts maybe being 15th if you're really pessimistic on him. Some people might have him in their top 5. Not too many quarterbacks have a Super Bowl, but he's probably 10th in the league. But he's not bad. Saquon Barkley, you could say he's had a bad year. You could say he's taken a step off like a lot of late 20s running backs do. He's still pretty good, as he showed today. A.J. Brown, same thing. You can't argue he's not a top 10 receiver. So why isn't it working? Is their offensive line that bad? It's funny, that offensive line coach that always gets all the praise, I actually heard on Locked On Eagles, was like, maybe we should look at him. And it's he's the only offensive line coach that anybody knows, and the only thing they talk about is how great he is year after year. It's hard not to look and eventually turn to the play caller and be like, why isn't any of this coming together?
A first-time play caller that has just been completely over his head. here in this season. And yeah, it's not the offensive line. I mean, Lane Johnson was out, right? So obviously there's issues there. But Jalen Hurts was only sacked one time, and Saquon Barkley rushed for 122 yards.
Time.
You're not going to blame the offensive line, right? What you're going to blame is the play calling. What you're going to blame is a terrible performance from Jalen Hurts, 21 of 40 passing. He threw 4 interceptions. He also fumbled. He became the first player in history to have 2 turnovers on the same play after he threw the interception, recovered the fumble, and then fumbled the ball after that. Just a disaster of a performance from Jalen Hurts. Some of the decisions were poor. Some of the missed throws were really eye-opening. Like he had A.J. Brown open on a play, and he overthrew him. He had another pass that he sailed over a receiver's head. And yeah, were some of the interceptions not his fault? Like, a tipped ball or a ball that goes off of A.J. Brown's hands that winds up being an interception. I get that. Overall, this was a terrible performance from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, one of the worst in his career, and he's had a couple of bad ones, especially early on in his career. That's what you judge coordinators on, though. What is the trend line of your best players, especially your quarterback? It's going the wrong way.
Mackenzie, are the Dallas Cowboys still alive in the NFC East?
They have to be. I mean, the Eagles have now lost, 4 in a row? I mean, this is a 25-year trend we're talking about. No NFC East repeat champion.
The Eagles have lost 3 straight games now.
3 straight. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It has seemed like it's been worse than that, but yeah, they were favorites to win the NFC most of that first half of the year. Have you seen any of those odds reposted? I mean, it was minus 800 before the game.
It's overwhelming. Up on FanDuel right now, the Eagles minus 1,000 to win the NFC East. Cowboys plus 750. And is it mathematically possible? Yes. It just, a lot has to happen. Okay, so the first thing is the Eagles lost the first game to the Eagles. They split. I'm sorry, they split the 2 games against the Cowboys, right? So what has to happen is not only do the Eagles have to lose another game to get that 6th loss, right? But with the Cowboys having that tie, even if the Cowboys win out,
they need a 7th loss.
They need the Eagles to get a 7th loss. That's the problem. So Eagles remaining schedule, home against the Raiders next week, at the Commanders, at the Buffalo Bills, and home against the Commanders. The Buffalo Bills game will be the only game that you can see the Eagles losing.
I don't know. I can see them losing to Las Vegas. Stranger things have happened. They are now, what is Nick Sirianni off a loss? He was 8-14 coming off the Cowboys loss, so that's 8-15, 8-16 now. He only covers a third of the time when favored after a loss.
Well,
upset of the century.
Okay, if you want to bet the Raiders, Mackenzie, you go right ahead because they're 11.5 point dogs.
I don't want to. I have to.
It's plus 650 on the money line if you want to take the Raiders next week.
Maybe I'll take plus 3.5.
Unless, is Kenny Pickett going to start that game?
Revenge game. Kenny Pickett revenge game. Let's go.
You know what? Listen, if Kenny Pickett starts that game, maybe we do take the Raiders plus the points against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's not that crazy. So maybe that is something to keep an eye on. As for the Chargers last night, Justin Herbert was their leading rusher, so much for that hand injury preventing Herbert from taking off and running. 10 carries for 66 yards for Justin Herbert. Kimani Vidal goes over his rushing numbers, so we were spot on there. He had 14 carries for 44 yards. Omarion Hampton had 13 carries for 56. So, yes, the sportsbooks were pricing it as if Hampton returning made him the number one. Vidal got the start, and Vidal had one more carry than Hampton. So,
and Vidal goes over.
And Vidal also had the biggest play in the game, which was that 60-yard catch and run in the first quarter that led to the touchdown there. So, he's still going to be involved in this offense, heavily involved in this offense, and he has earned the right to be heavily involved in this offense. Big win for the Chargers, who now they are the 5 seed in the AFC playoff picture if the season were to end today. And it's a crushing blow to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Crushing.
Chances
now minus 900 on the no to miss the playoffs.
Yeah. And we talked about it yesterday when we did the whole playoff machine predictor where we, kind of simulated how it had to play out. And they needed the Chargers to lose. And that's a big blow now to their hopes. The question I'm going to bring up now, Mackenzie, though, is the division still a chance here for the Chargers? So the Broncos have won 10 straight games. They're 11-2. Okay. They lost to the Chargers earlier this season.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then they have, they're home to the Packers this week. They're home to the Jaguars next week. They go to the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they are home to the Chargers, the final game of the season. The Chargers, meanwhile, they are at the Kansas City Chiefs next week, then at the Cowboys, home to the Texans, and then visit the Broncos that final game of the season. So the Chargers need to, if they win out or just win out before that Broncos game, they need Denver just to lose one game. Because if Denver has 3 losses and the Chargers have 4 losses, a Charger win in that final game, and they'll win the division. But that's a lot to have happen right now. Broncos minus 600 up on FanDuel to win the AFC West. Chargers plus 480.
This becomes a race if and when the Chargers go to Kansas City and win this upcoming week,
Yes.
which maybe got a lot more likely. Are the Chiefs' dreams crushed at this point? I know they're not going to be thinking this way, but Travis Kelce's got wedding plans. There's a lot going on in Kansas City. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers upset the Chiefs. I don't even know if it's that much of an upset. What's the line right now? Let's see.
Well, keep in mind, you also will have a short week for the Chargers, right? And Herbert with the hand injury after playing tonight. How does he do recovering on a short week? Chargers and Chiefs right now up on FanDuel. Kansas City 4.5-point favorites.
They're just not pricing in the losses, the psychology at all.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers are the play there. I know they don't have offensive linemen, but I feel like it's a field goal game.
Well, that's the thing. This was a loss in the trench report, but really, was it a loss in the trench report? Justin Herbert was sacked 7 times last night. I know the result is not good for the trench report, but in the trench report, identifying the Eagles as having a mismatch against the Chargers, rushing for 134 yards and sacking the quarterback 7 times, I think that would show you that they had a nice mismatch, right?
Yeah. The trench report is like everything but the quarterback. And you could say these are probably even-ish quarterbacks on paper, but Hurts had the worst game of his career. Herbert, despite the sacks, kept his head on straight.
Yeah. So we'll chalk that up for a loss for the trench report. 4-1 straight up. The trench report this week, still with the outright underdog win in the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that makes us feel good. Overall numbers on the trench report for those of you who are keeping score at home, it is now 37-13 straight up with 11 outright underdog winners, and the top 3 closest mismatch that we started publishing in week 8, so 3 weeks after we published the first trench report in week number 5. The underdogs are 13-7-1 ATS. 8 of those were outright winners. So
this is a Fez type question. 37-13. What percentage is that? Quickly. What's percentage is 37-13?
I'm not good at math.
This is easy.
I'm not good at math, and I did not go to Yale.
Well, it's 50 total sample, so you just double it, 74%.
Woo! Feels good. Feels good. The math feels good. Any other news in the NFL that, Shedeur Sanders is going to remain the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I really don't think that that's a big story, nor do I think that's a surprise. There's 4 games left in the year. You're trying to see what you have before you go into this offseason. You're going to have to obviously make a decision on your quarterback for next year. I think Sanders being the quarterback for the rest of this season means absolutely nothing for who's going to be the quarterback next season.
The Browns scored the second most points they had all season. They scored 31 points in that weather game against Miami, where Gabriel threw for 115 yards. Other than that, this is probably their biggest offensive performance. Why wouldn't they let the hot hand, so to speak, run? Deshaun Watson will be retained, according to Adam Schefter, to the Browns.
I know.
Who's the starter week 1 for the Browns? I'll give you 3 options: Watson, Sanders, or other.
Watson.
I think so. I think so. Even if it's 1 year left on his contract, they're like, why not?
He gets to go out there and
Sunk
earn it.
cost, yeah.
He gets to go out there and earn it. Comeback player of the year.
People would protest the Manhattan offices.
Oh my God. You know, speaking of awards, I saw somebody post something online yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting. Can I intrigue you with a Tyler Shuck Offensive Rookie of the Year ticket? 200 to 1.
I mean,
200 to 1.
if they win the last 5 games, what are the odds of that? Probably about 200 to 1.
Yeah, exactly. You're better. That's the thing. You're better off money line rollovering the Saints to win their next couple of games, right?
Who's the favorite right now? It would
Ted
be
Ted
Ted
McMillan.
McMillan for
Yep.
the Panthers.
Yeah.
All right, so there's no clear and obvious. I guess
No.
that's why you would think someone like Shuck would have a chance.
Mhm.
Because
So yeah,
most
the
people know McMillan. Most people don't care about Dart. He doesn't have a good.
he's
had
the
a good
second
year.
favorite actually.
I remember Egbuka. We talked about him like every week.
He's the
For
third
like 5
favorite.
weeks. What happened to him?
Third favorite. Well, yeah. I mean, he hasn't been catching a
All
lot of
right.
balls lately. A lot of things have changed. I mean,
Tyler
remember-
Warren may play quarterback, the 4th favorite.
I mean, think about it. The Colts were the darlings of the league, right?
Jonathan
Shane
Taylor
Steichen-
was -1,000 to
exactly.
win. Offensive
Shane
player of the
Steichen
year.
was coach of the year, right?
Right.
And Jonathan
Crazy.
Taylor was overwhelming. Like right now, Jackson Smith and Jigba is -370 to be the offensive player of the year. Like there was a time where it was Jonathan Stewart -2,000
Yeah.
to win that award. Yeah, it's just amazing. And Mike Vrabel's -175 to be the coach of the year right now up on FanDuel. So
You think there are any changes in Indianapolis? This will be the 5th straight year they haven't made the playoffs. There's always a reason up there.
dude,
Did you know they're actually getting Phillip Rivers in the building tomorrow?
yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Like, you know what's more likely to happen? More likely to happen before they sign Phillip Rivers to play quarterback this year. More likely to happen is that the Cleveland Browns release Joe Flacco. I mean,
And
excuse me,
he starts for Indianapolis.
The Cincinnati Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals release Joe Flacco now that Burrow's back, and then Flacco starts for the Colts. That's more likely to happen.
Flacco 3 wins on 3. I mean, that's a LeBron-esque distinction. The only quarterback ever to win 3 games in the same season with 3 different teams.
That would be an incredible story, by the way.
It's a walk off into the sunset. You're not going to make the Hall of Fame, Joe Flacco, but wow.
Just an absolute incredible story. In college football, we know the Heisman finalists, and no surprise, it's exactly who we thought it was going to be. It is Fernando Mendoza, the favorite, who is the quarterback of Indiana, Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback, Jeremiah Love, the running back of Notre Dame, and Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin. Those are your Heisman finalists that will be announced on Saturday in New York, and it is very likely going to be Fernando Mendoza after the win against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and that's all that she wrote. However,
Mendoza!
I put this out on Twitter over the weekend. Whoever wins the Heisman, regardless of who wins, the only quarterback out of these 3 that people will remember in a couple of years is Diego Pavia. He's got
Bold
more.
words.
He's got more of the brand. He's got more. Everyone remembers how good he was as an underdog and betting him when he was at New Mexico State and then at Vanderbilt. And it's just he's got the whole Theo Vaughn thing going on, with the podcasts and his mom. And I don't know. No one's going to remember unless Fernando Mendoza gets drafted by the Jets and actually has a good NFL career. And Julian Sayin, goes on to do some good things. No one's going to remember these guys. Diego Pavia is the one that people are going to remember from this season or from the past couple of seasons in college football. Just a weak Heisman case. All right, Mackenzie, let's get into some basketball.
Your home holds the story of your life. Renewal by Andersen windows are built to weather every season with you. They frame the little moments.
Look, Daddy.
And the big ones, from first steps to graduation to new beginnings. While life keeps moving, our windows stand strong through every chapter. Let Renewal by Andersen be part of your story. Windows built to last. Visit renewalbyandersen.com to learn more.
Everybody sleeps.
but no two people sleep alike. At Coop Sleep Goods, we celebrate the way you sleep differently. We believe everyone deserves a great night's sleep with their own pillow, and the adjustable, customizable Coop pillow makes it easy. Whether you're a side sleeper, a back sleeper, or even a starfish, we've got the perfect pillow for you. Crafted with our innovative memory foam and microfiber fill, our hypoallergenic pillows adjust to you and not the other way around. Just tailor the fill for the perfect fit. Add some in, take some out, until your pillow's just right for you. See why luxury hotels and spas worldwide feature Coop Sleep Goods and why we have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. With our 100-night risk-free trial, you've got nothing to lose except those sleepless nights. Get 20% off your first order when you visit coopsleepgoods.com/podcastnews. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/podcastnews.
When your company earns unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with Capital One, that's serious business. So Stephen at SandCloud got a serious business card, the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One.
We used our 2% cash back to help build our retail presence.
Savvy, Stephen.
And we get big purchasing power, so our business can spend more and earn more.
The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.
Good call by you, Mackenzie, last night. The Suns beating the Timberwolves 108-105. You talked about taking the points there with the Phoenix Suns. You also gave out here on the podcast and in the newsletter the over on Anthony Edwards, who finished with 40 points. Up on BetterDay.com for our Better Day Premium members, we gave out a live play on the Minnesota Timberwolves team total to go under 114.5. You might have been able to only get it at 113.5, but it didn't matter. They scored 105 points, and we cashed the live bet for Better Day Premium members. Why did this one fit everything that you thought was going to happen last night?
Yeah, it's one of those where the game starts, and I watch the first couple of possessions, and I realize I should have gotten down more. I should have made an official play on this. Like, it was exactly played out as I thought, so I'm glad we were able to get that live play down. And anyone that listened on the podcast. But the Suns are doing something very differently on defense, and it's exactly what the Timberwolves are bad against. And it used to be unthinkable in the NBA to press full court and really try these guards in their ball handling for 48 minutes because the idea was they're just too good. They're just going to dribble past you and lay it up on the other end. Timberwolves really don't have that. They don't have that speed. And Anthony Edwards, a great player, has 2 assists in this game and 40 points. A great game for him. 15 for 21. When he's running downhill and he beats the press, it's just in his instinct to try to score, but there's only going to be so many of those possessions. As great as and efficient as he was, only 105 points for the Timberwolves. So glad we got the live under. It actually went up to 116.5 when they scored 13 points in the last 2 minutes of the half. So plenty of opportunities, but the thesis held true straight through the fourth quarter. The Timberwolves were just really lacking kind of a table setter on offense.
Tonight we have 2 NBA Cup quarterfinal games. The first game is the Miami Heat at the Orlando Magic, currently on FanDuel. Miami a 1-point favorite and a total of 234.5. We gave out this play to Better Day insiders yesterday when the total was 238.5. So that is the benefit of being a Better Day insider is when we place the bet, you get the bet. And so a little CLV for this total tonight, Mackenzie.
Yeah, and I still think there's value there because I think the reason why it's gone down is mostly because Franz Wagner was a unexpected scratch, and the Magic's offense has been a lot better when Paolo Banchero's been off the court and Franz Wagner's been on the court, and we're going to get the opposite of that. So I think the Magic are rarely dogs in this matchup. They were just, 5-point favorites in this matchup with Wagner. But I do think their offense will struggle. But that's not why I made this bet. I made this bet because this is a playoff game. This is a double elimination game, quarterfinal of the NBA Cup. And they're pricing this like not only are these red-hot offenses going to keep it up and there's no playoff factor, but they're also not red-hot anymore. The Magic have severely cooled off since trying to reincorporate Paolo Banchero. And the Heat, who are a great kind of novel experiment of offense in the first, 3 weeks of the season, they've been figured out a little bit too, and they are not, a top 10 offense as we didn't expect them to be coming in. So this, I could see this being 225. I could see an alt under still being of value, But at 234.5, it's gotten some pushback. We dipped all the way down to 232. I was a little bit surprised by that. I would still play the under here.
Have you noticed these NBA Cup games, once it gets to the elimination time, that the teams do have more of a defensive focus?
The semifinals and the finals have gone under. The quarterfinals haven't. In a couple years of this tournament, it's been slightly over, but I think that's just noise. I think there's every reason why the semifinals, the finals, and every playoffs for 20 years tells us one thing, and we should follow it as bettors.
Okay. The other game tonight is the Knicks at the Raptors, currently up on FanDuel. Knicks are 4.5-point favorites with a total of 225.5.
I am skeptical that the Raptors are this good, but this is a wait and see game for me. I gotta mind my P's and Q's here. One of the things that this model has, the NBA model that we've written about and talked about, as kind of signaled to me, is power ratings change fast in a couple weeks. Model likes the Raptors almost every game. I'm gonna stay off it.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be an interesting games to keep an eye on here for tonight in the NBA. We also have some fun college basketball games coming up, Mackenzie. I know it's like, what, college basketball? Like, how many times do we talk college basketball here on this program? Well, when we have like fun games and like good top 25 matchups, like, we're going to bring it up. Look at the games that we have here on this schedule for tonight. We have the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden. I love these games. I've been to these games many years. First game tonight is Clemson against number 10 BYU, and currently up on FanDuel right now, BYU is a 7.5-point favorite in this game. That's not the game that I'm interested in. The game that I'm interested in is the later game, which is number 5 UConn and number 18 Florida. And we've talked about UConn before playing at Madison Square Garden. They have the crowd in that building. UConn is a 4.5-point favorite up on FanDuel tonight against Florida. And we have seen UConn already this year play a game at Madison Square Garden. It was against number 13 Illinois, and that was a game where it was, I don't even know what the holiday tournament or whatever it was. It was just a game that was at Madison Square Garden, and UConn was like a 2.5-point favorite. They won 74-61 against Illinois. Like, UConn at the Garden is the team that I want to back. I am by no means a college basketball expert, but some things I know. And I know that UConn wins at the Garden. So with all due respect to Florida, I'm going to lay the 5.5 with the Huskies tonight. 4.5 with the Huskies tonight at the world's most famous arena. We also will have a system play on the ice tonight. Going to send that out to Better Day Insider and Premium members. This is a great time to join us up on betterday.com. We have just launched player props on our odds page. Now, the odds page is always free for you guys to go check out. I want to make that your destination to get all of your odds. You can go to betterday.com, click on our odds page, and you will see all of the games, all the sports, and you can compare the game lines, which they change, by the way, live during the games. That's why it's called a live betting odds screen. The scores will show up during the games. The live odds will show up during the games. You can compare to the major online books, including our friends over at FanDuel. But the best part about it now, player props are included. So you can click on a game. Not only will it bring up all the derivative markets like first half, second half, quarters, periods for NHL, all that stuff, team totals, but you click on the player props and it'll give you a list of all the player props in the game. So something that I'm very excited about, and I hope that you guys get excited about it as well. The new player props feature on our odds page up on betterday.com. Coming up later on today, I will be hosting the BetUS TV College Football Show, our first look at the college football playoff first round games. We'll also preview the Army-Navy game. That'll be streaming on Rumble, so you want to make sure you guys check that out. Go to my Twitter page at Scott's On Air. I'll tweet out the links for you guys to watch that show. We have 2 shows this week, today and tomorrow. So we'll be breaking down the first slate of bowl games coming up on tomorrow's episodes. We also have the Trench Report coming out tomorrow, every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, emailed to Better Day Insider and premium members. So the Week 15 Trench Report will be out. And then Mackenzie's actually going to be working on something for the NBA Cup because the semifinals are this weekend here in Las Vegas, semifinals and finals. We have the semifinals are going to be on Saturday here in Vegas, and the championship is on Tuesday here in Vegas. So Mac is actually going to be working on some NBA Cup stuff for you guys. So that'll be posted and emailed out to you guys as well. As always, hit us up on social media. And here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
Happy holidays. Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.